Okay, so our community discussion for September is officially beginning. So we've got some user submitted questions to go over today. We've got some previews for the October crates, which are being launched in about a week from this upcoming Tuesday. So like a week and a half, we've got some new items coming to the website. Just some little notes about Avatar of the Week, celebrating last week's winners, and also just reminders about the current cycle of Avatar of the Week. We're going to address just some community concerns, give you guys the floor to kind of just bring up any topics you want to discuss about Voltra, whether that be new features, etc., etc. So I want to give you guys the time to do that because that's how we have our discussions. And then, yeah, we're also going to touch on some things that are more extended topics that just come from the user submitted questions. Reminders about milestones. We recently just reached our 750K milestone, and so that the Dream Keeper has officially left shops. That was exciting, and then we're now moving on to our 1 million post milestone item. So we got a few updates there. I know we've reached the first post to be unlocked, so that should be coming soon, but we'll get into that later. Update on staff, the current staff application process. Nothing too new from the last time we discussed. And then we've got our raffles at the end. So just make sure that you post your username in the community discussion attendance September 2019 channel, just so that you're entered for those raffles. If you have any questions during the community discussion, you're welcome to ping me in the current community discussion with your question, or just post it in the community discussions questions channel over to the left, and just kind of like poke me if I'm not aware that there's a question there, because sometimes I overlook things. And yeah, we'll get into it. So what I think we'll do is I think we should get through we don't have much to go through that I have planned, so we'll go through that, and then I'll give you guys the floor at the end, so that way we get through what we need to, and then you guys kind of have the rest of the night, as long as it takes. But anyway, let's go ahead, let's start. I'll stop rambling now. So I think we're going to start with our October crates, the previews, which are amazing. So let me go ahead and get that. It's October, what do you expect? Alright, so here's our first preview. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. We have 2 new general crate sets coming. We don't have a new rare set. It's sharing the same rare set as the current month. So, which is, oh gosh, I'm so bad at remembering things. But yes, it's going to have the same rare set. So we'll be rolling out a new rare set come November. And both of these sets were pixeled by Ghost, so you will not be disappointed. Actually, if there's any item on the website that you never like, I don't really think it's just one person in particular's fault. First of all, we all have our own opinions and tastes, but also we do kind of run our items past the entire staff, and so we do give time for feedback and all of that. But yeah, I think all of our items are great. They all have their own uses. We're not going to beat anyone up. Alright, I've definitely made we all are our worst critics, so I've definitely made some items where I look back on now, I'm just like, why? What went wrong? But then it's always nice to see those people who actually enjoy the items. I mean, I enjoy all the items, but like, sometimes I feel like, oh yeah, I could have done that a little better. Okay, on to our second preview. think that looks kind of spoopy to me. Sorry, I can't answer any questions. I plead the fifth. Christmas. The holiday season's my favorite. Halloween is cool too. I mean, I really enjoy pumpkin spice. So that's like a highlight for me. I do like fall is my favorite season though. Fall is my favorite season, or autumn. So there's that too. All right, so those are our two previews that we have today, and our only two previews for you guys. So I hope you enjoy those. And now we're just gonna move on to Avatar of the Week. So congratulations to our last week's winners. I can probably go ahead and plop in the image here, but I don't feel the need to. But I'll do it anyway if I can find it really quick, just so if no one's seen those. Plus, it's exciting. It's like the first Avatar of the Week that we've had in such a long time. It was it was nice to really get that back out there. I was excited about that. I hope. What do you guys think about the Avatar of the Week process? Does it make sense? Is there things that you think should be changed? Okay, cool. I know it's technically not like Avatar of the Week because it's not weekly. We don't have a new Avatar weekly, but um, yeah, I thought bi-weekly might be better than like Avatar of the Month. At least this way, it's like there's a little more substance and more participation needed for a bi-weekly competition other than a a monthly. So it's a good balance, I think, especially for staff because we are currently running Avatar of the Week manually. So that was one worry that I had. I didn't want to start something and then we fall behind on it. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Something we could take into consideration. I did see a lot of people saying, "I'm going to use my rules to vote for me next week." So I see how that could be an issue. Which that's just the current rules right now, so it's not bad because that's the rules we laid out to begin with. So for those of you who took advantage of that, good for you. That's awesome. You're playing the game right. Yeah, okay. See, I'm not having the easiest time finding this. So, actually, it's okay. Just congratulations to Total Anime Fan for being our first place and featured avatar of the week. And then to our runner-ups, congratulations too, because you all got portions of that new Avatar of the Week items. So we got some of those out there in circulation. And to all the participants, that's awesome. We had a great turnout. We had 25 Balties participate. And so all of them got participation ribbons, and eventually we'll have those circulate. We've had some discussions on staff of like possibilities of other things down the line of what we can do with Avatar of the Week items and sets, just to make it a little more unique and fun. So we'll see what happens, but I don't really have any updates on what those plans will be. So just participate every week. I know you might get sick of the items after a while, just like our daily chants, but we have been working on trying to get those something together with the daily chants, get that updated as well. Stuff just takes time. We we have so much to do, guys. So little time. All right, and just a reminder that tonight is the last night to enter for the next for this current September 15th cycle. So for the winners who will be announced October 1st. No, wait, actually not October 1st. Scratch that, scratch that. So the way it's currently running, we're accepting entries until the end of tonight. We'll post entries for viewing and voting tomorrow. And then you vote until Thursday, which is the 26th. And then we will announce the winners on Sunday, October 29th. And here is the link for you to go to Velvet's thread on Avatar of the Week and the runway. And if you haven't entered, you can find out how to enter there. I don't vote. I don't know if I'm allowed to vote. I would like to vote. I mean, honestly, all the avatars were really amazing. It's really unique and cool to see how everyone else puts items together. Sometimes I'm like, wow, how do they manage that? Because I don't have that vision sometimes. And then I'll be working on an avatar, and then I'll give up like 30 minutes later. I was like, I don't like it, scrap. And then I'm just back to square one with the same avatar. I'm really digging my current avatar, though. I feel like it's repping Voltra, so that's why I've left it for a while. Honestly, I think it's one of my favorite avatars I've had for a while. And I got my day one OG Venora hanging out with me, so. Alright. Don't boo Venora. All of our NPCs are great. I would say if I had it, it's really hard for me to pick though. Can I, top three maybe? It's Venora, probably Valentina. Can we throw Bernard in there? They're like a pair, they count as one. And then, oh, duh. Which also I don't know if this counts too, but I've had Mayor Vulcan, obviously. I feel like he's just like my spirit NPC. And then he's the father of Venora, and like Venora's my favorite, so one of my favorites. All right, moving on. So let's see. Vulcan's not evil. It's the agents of entropy are the source of evil, and Velez is also the source of evil. And they have not corrupted. They have not corrupted Mayor Vulcan. The Guardians would sniff that out in a jiffy, okay? Alright, so let's see. We can always discuss more about Mayor Vulcan later. And our NPCs in general. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think we're going to move on to our user submitted questions, and then I'll open up the floor to other questions and discussion. So, our first question, is the staff thinking about adding polls as an option to the first post of threads? So polls has come up in discussion before. It's been a suggested feature, and we've made some features for the forum so far, which is like the dice roll. There's the random number generator, I believe. And so polls is definitely something we're looking into adding to our as a feature for the forums eventually. We currently aren't like working on that, or it's not been recently discussed in our development channel on staff, but I think it would, definitely polls is just, I think it'd be a great feature to add. So something, since I've heard it come up a few times now too, and I'm going to touch on this later when we're talking and discussing about like what projects we should be working on introducing new, and what new content should be introduced on the website, is how frequent you guys bring it up and the majority of like how many users are interested in that. So this might be one of those projects where we should probably just get the ball rolling and see if we can get it out there for you guys. So next question, have you guys considered adding an undo or back button to the inventory page? So the inventory, we have a lot of updates coming to the inventory, and there has been more progress on that. So that's what Hazer was working on, and as you notice, he's not on staff anymore, but we did commission him to complete this project, so he's staying committed to that and getting that finished to get it pushed to the website for you all. With the updates, they've been such major updates to the inventory system and the way that items now function in the inventory system. He just realized that it doesn't transfer so nicely over to the trade system. So if you look at the trade system when you're selecting items, it's very similar layout to the inventory system, and it just doesn't make sense to push this update to the inventory system and then it's not going to translate over to the trade system inventory that you see. So he's working on getting that all situated and together so that it's more fluid and it like just looks nicer and it's more functional for you guys. And he just recently shared an update with us yesterday, I believe. So definitely in the next coming weeks we should get the new inventory system rolled out to you all, which includes a whole list of updates, which is in our previous outline, and I also included it in this outline, which I'll post after the discussion, so you guys can review that. I don't really think the necessities for an undo button is really there anymore, because the way that with the updates for the inventory system, it shows a whole list of all the items you currently, the poses you currently have equipped, and then you can just say if you equip something that you don't like it because it got equipped something else, you can just click on that and on it. So there's previews and all that stuff for it. It's kind of hard to explain because there's so many factors involved, but it's amazing. I've seen the progress that we've made, and it's going to be really great to get out there, especially with the outfit feature. It's like a closet feature. You can save up. Right now it's unlimited, so you'll be able to save as many of your avatars as you like. And you can just click on that outfit, and then boom, it equips it onto your avatar. So that has been many months in the making, and we're excited to release that finally. Yeah, so that's where a lot of our attention has been focused lately, and so we try to get to other, projects too. It's just a balancing act, pretty much. All right. So I hope that answers that question about the undo and back button. It's really not going to be needed, but we'll know for sure. Like if we do release the update and it seems like it's still an issue, we can try and implement something like that. Release when? Yeah, there's not a set date because there's still some kinks to work out, which I was just discussing about that trade system, which was an unforeseen thing, really. So once we thought, yeah, I know, boo, I agree. It sucks to keep you guys waiting too, because we're over here. I'm sure on the other end, when you're not seeing the actual progress being made, it's a little more like looking at the clock. Okay, when you keep on mentioning it. So it's one of those things. And there are some previews that we shared of the progress we've made, which shows like the updates. It does show the outfit feature, the closet feature. It shows the new kind of format for the trades. So you'll be able to see those previews once I post this outline, or if you refer back to the old outline. But yeah, I don't want to give you guys a date or anything, or like a time frame really, but I am positive. I am like really positive, like 99% positive. It's going to be before 2020. So let's put it that way. You will know of a date pretty much once we get into the testing phase and our staff has tested it. I feel like that'll give us a better understanding, and that's when we will be able to release an official date based on availability of our developers, and to make sure that one admin is around just in case anything goes awry. So we will release the date as soon as possible for you guys. Okay, so next question. Any possibility in the future that we can wear more than 2 poses per item? So this was a feature that we launched Voltra with, where you can wear 2 poses per item. So it's specifically pertaining to the crate items, so collectibles and stuff like that, donation items, how our website gets support from your donations. And I thought it was a good balance. The reason why we did this 2 pose thing was I just remember being a user, and when you want to wear a complete set, and like a donation set is 5 poses, sometimes even more, it's really difficult to wear all the poses you want to wear because you have to track down those items, and eventually, if they're older items, it's much more harder to get those. So that's why we do the 2 pose, kind of to balance that out a little bit. With new users getting older items, sometimes they're not in the system or they're not as easy to come by. So, you really only need 2 to 3. I mean, you need really realistically 3 if you want to wear the whole set, but at least having just 2 of that item gives you the ability to wear almost a complete set. And I don't see us moving away from that in the future. We'll definitely not go below 2. That's something that's just in our coding. We're not changing that. The ability to wear all poses, I don't see that as being an option for us right now, and I'm very strong on changing that as well. It comes down to really affecting. I mean, you can definitely that way. It's hard to put it in words, but definitely coming down to a support factor, and with having a budget to return content to the website for you guys after support. If you were only needing to collect one of each collectible each month, it's really hard for us to support ourselves in the content. We have to pay for artists, we pay for development, and pay for all other assets for the website. One day though, when we're big enough, because I know you guys have been spreading the word about Voltra, I've seen some threads around and like really encouraging users to bring friends and stuff. If our user base was much more larger and we had that support, we definitely, I mean, it's something that I'm never going to say never, because things change all the time, especially on Voltra. So this is still a project in development. So, and I don't think we're ever going to not be in development, because there's always room for improvement. So that was a very good question though. And I always thought that the 2 pose per item was a great incentive, and it's like unique to Voltra kind of thing. So yes, supply and demand. That's a great way to put it, Colin. All right, so next question. Is a reporting system going to be implemented to the forums? So as our community has grown, I've realized that this is definitely something that we should be focusing our time into. We've been relying on the support from our moderator staff in hopes that users would be like reaching out to them, and we've implemented the block feature, which is like, it could be a permanent or temporary band-aid depending on the user who's blocking. Well, depending on how individuals are blocking each other, which is not the best resolution to any problem, but we understand that sometimes either, just emotions are involved, and if you're feeling under attack by someone else, someone's pushing too much, that could be frustrating. So that's why we implemented the block feature, just to kind of help with that, because staff, we're not always going to come to the solution that makes an individual happy. Like, they're not always going to be happy with our conclusion with each scenario. So that's what the block feature is there for. And then I do hope one day to have this reporting system or a ticket system where users can just send us a note with their concerns, and then we would address it with replying to that ticket. And like I said, there's so many projects, and I feel like now we're getting to a point where this is definitely something we probably need sooner rather than later. So I appreciate those of you who, I've seen some express this concern already, and then this question. So I will definitely be in contact, be discussing with our interface support, which is our developers, trying to, change up the terms a little bit, about how we can get this implemented, maybe how long it's going to take, and keep you guys updated on that. So yeah. And then our next question is, how is priority distributed among the different projects you have in development, and how do you decide which projects will be pushed first? What a wonderful follow-up question. Yes, I usually do organize these into a specific order, just to better flow of things. So basically, when it comes to organizing our projects and determining what should be released to the site first, it's there's multiple factors at play typically. A few of them are just like staff availability, the time frame of the project, so like how long it might take to get these assets together or to complete them. Like so the coding, if there's art involved, and back to staff availability, how many artists are available, how many developers are available, um, and do those is the staff currently kind of overwhelmed with projects, or what are the current projects that are assigned? And then also just like what resources are available for us, such as our budget. We do commission a majority of our staff, especially our artists and our coders. Those are all commission based, or well, usually are they're like stipended. And then the community. So what have we seen or heard within the community on the forums? Like I said, I always have my phone on me, so I usually am scrolling through Voltra daily, multiple times a day. So I do pick up on things, and I'm reading through things and try, and that comes into factor too. How frequent are you guys mentioning these features or updates that you want to see? And then is there a high demand for it, and how beneficial do we see it for the community? And that kind of goes back to, now this reporting system. It seems like that's one thing that we're hearing frequently, and we've heard in the past, and so it's coming up a lot more now. So that's something that we really should be focusing on as a staff, trying to get that together for you guys. And that just goes back to coding wise, really, because that's mainly a coded feature. There's really no other assets involved. So it's like the power of our development team, and so that's why I got to reach out to our developers, see what their availability is like. We do have other projects in development right now, which are coming along very nicely. I'm very pleased with the development on those. Actually, it's been a much quicker turnaround, but I don't want to get too much information on that because we always get you guys so excited, and then we keep pushing things off like it's still in a work in progress. So hopefully with the next community discussions I can discuss those features coming. They're actually currently in staff, we're currently having staff test those features, and it's something for those of you who might be lurkers or are looking for other activities outside of the forum. So I'm just going to toss that little sneak peek in there. So that's that. Are there any other questions about projects or like how we organize or crickets? Actually, correction. My AC system. That thing's always running. All I hear is a brrrr. Oh, crickets, I mean like quietness. No, when like say if you had a performance on stage and then you're done with your performance and no one's clapping or anything, it's like crickets. You can hear the crickets because they're so quiet. So sewers, great. So why did you ask that question? No, sewers is definitely something we definitely want to touch. I just don't see Voltra existing without the sewers in years to come. So like we're gonna get it out. We're gonna work on sewers. We want to get sewers launched. That was something we talked about sewers like way in the beginning of Voltra, and honestly, it's been one of those things where we just kept pushing it off because games are just way more in depth than coding a forum website. And we already struggle with just getting coding and development work done for the website. So I think I will say we have discussed on staff because we said the sewers, and it's just a quick rundown of the sewers. It's like supposed to be a location in Voltra where you can find just random scraps of items. There's going to be little blob like I don't want to go too in detail because these were just our initial ideas behind the sewers. This is nothing that has actually been executed. So the idea was there'd be like monsters in the sewers or like the agents of entropy that would come up and you'd have to fight them, and it'd be like some kind of world you could travel through with your avatar kind of setup. And so when we just brought on Pathologic, which is one of our current interface support staff members, that was one of their interests. They asked us about sewers, and so I think if we would discuss maybe like putting out like a very simplified version of the sewers, just something to introduce you guys to the sewers and just finally have it out there, and then we would expand on that and kind of, it'd be in its beta phase, and we'd get your feedback on it and hopefully add more features to the game as the time went on. And also the sewers is where Gregory lives. I think. I know he's in a trash can most of the time, but his friends are rats, or his family are rats. Oh, sorry. I think that was. It might have been I was tapping my fingers. I apologize. All right. I wasn't picking any fun at Gregory. Actually, that's a good idea for a game. A whack-a-mole game, but it's actually with the rats and Gregory. And then if you whack Gregory, you get bonus points. That was bullying, sorry. All right, all right. So that was actually all of our user submitted questions. And so yeah, we can move on to just like some community discussion, open the floor up to you guys. So one thing that's definitely been some concern in our community that you guys have been you've had some opinions and you've expressed some of your concerns about was the introduction of the 10 seconds wait for posts. So we're looking for feedback on that. I know it was very sudden of a change, and so we do apologize about that, and we have apology to the community coming out, and also some reasons as to why we made this change, and how we can improve in the future with changes such as this, because this was a very apparent change, and it definitely should have been one about in a more informative matter. I feel like you guys should have been informed as that this change was going to happen and the reasons behind it. So that was definitely on our part a very major fault in launching that feature. And so we're here to listen to you guys, and I understand the change. It could be a little, if you're one of those posters who are definitely you're much faster with your responses, I could see where it could inhibit you from really holding your conversations or your interactions with each other. So I know that's like a downfall. It's one of the cons. So that's what we're gonna. That's the whole decision process as to when that was launched so suddenly is something we're going to be addressing in our apology and I don't really know what to call the post we're making. It's a community informative post. It's not really an announcement. It's addressing this scenario that just happened, and I don't want us to be talking negatively about any individual in this equation, because that's not what I started this community for. I will say, just definitely was not one about the right way with introducing it to the community. It should have been something that was pushed with notifying you guys first. But the reasoning behind it, I do back the reasoning behind the 10-second waits for posting, and that is because I think there definitely needs to be limits. We've seen many avatar sites in the past that have kind of ended up, it's corrupted their economy with not having any limits, and so I think we might be seeing more limits as time goes on in Voltra's future. Yeah, and I think instant messaging is something, this is kind of sidetracking, but instant messaging is something I think that would benefit us, and I've have that in our developer like log for like possible projects before, as an instant messaging kind of feature, something that you guys can respond quicker to each other. But of course, that kind of feature you wouldn't really be earning any vaults or currency in, because what we're just worried about is, the possibility of corrupting the economy. And it's, I mean, I used to be on Gaia and all that stuff, and I hate to talk about other avatar sites, but the reality is that a lot of them don't have the longest running, you know, lifespan or all that stuff, and Gaia's been around for ages, so it's yeah. And I don't even know all the details from other avatar websites. It's just, um, I've seen and heard about just how it's very easy to, um, abuse the currency, granting system, and we do closely watch that. Um, so that's just one thing, and I feel like introducing a limit kind of helps. There's stuff that always goes past us though, and last thing I want is for one issue to spiral out of control to where, um, it affects the community. And let's see, would it be more beneficial to limit the currency rather than the posting? And that's also a good point. There's always other solutions too, and I think this one was just really a solution that was put out there way too quickly. It was like a quick band-aid, and those don't always work. So that's a really good point that, priest priestess of pie priestess of pie made, like kind of a limit to the currency grant, which the term I think is like a soft limit or something like that. I don't know if that's, or soft cap. So this is pertaining, I guess, to like the undercurrent, because there really are not many limits in the undercurrent. There's not many rules, and it's kind of like a almost free for all. I mean, obviously, I hope you guys wouldn't be posting like really horrible content in there or anything like that. So there are those kind of rules in there, like 18 plus and all that. But yeah, like when there's unlimited posting that you can do, um, that's where I guess an issue comes. So a soft cap for like forums like that, where it's just you can like constantly, and I hate, spam and all that stuff is also like got a negative term to it, but just constantly posting and posting after yourself. We all know that's considered spam, as people call it. It's one after the other. Um, that's an option we can do. It would just take some time to code that in. Like if you were to make like 1,000 volts a day on that, which is just a random number I'm throwing out there. That's all I'm saying. But so let me just read through your responses here. I wish we would do limits when the community is bigger, because it's so hard to try and stay active. Okay, and I think so. Introducing limits as our community is bigger, um, I feel like that poses potentially more risks, because if we don't introduce limits now, things that we don't find or see could also just, like I said, it's a snowball effect, could become worse by the time we get there, and that would be like an economy where like we things could end up being millions of vaults. We never know, and I feel like our economy's in a good place right now where things are pretty affordable. I don't know that well, because I obviously am not a basic user. I don't post for vaults to earn items. I pretty much just wear them as I please. But as a user I've been on avatar sites since I was age of 12 or 13, and I've seen them like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get this item? I really like it. I really want it. I, I don't have the the privilege to like really, the opportunity to donate to support the website to get, premium currency to trade to get that item. So that's what I'm saying. And with forums like the Undercurrent, it is very, very, like, I know it takes hours and hours to post that much. I'm not saying that's easy. So I applaud you with the dedication of users who sit there, to put in the effort to make those posts, because that's definitely work in itself. Um, but at the end of the day, that could potentially be harming our community, and it just could make our future much more difficult for any newcomers to our community. because I mean, there's no doubt their value will increase over time, and that's why we have collectibles, because it's an incentive for those who are around now to support the website, and then that's an investment for you in our future. But with no limits, um, it's really there's no saying what kind of harm could come to the community in the future. And I get it's annoying, and it's something that we're going to look into. I'm not going to remove the 10-second wait right now, which I know might not be the best thing to hear. It was just implemented. I do agree it was implemented wrong, but it was implemented, and I do want to see it through and see what comes of it. And if we can even just specify what forums get this 10-second delay, because like I said, a lot of our forums, you are right, are very slow or very quiet. And so there needs to be a place where it keeps you interested and it's fast-paced moving so that we still have some sort of activity. So I think I've heard that maybe limiting it to certain forums is an option. It's just another thing of like dev work and availability. Yeah, on a mobile app, I'm fairly happy with how mobile friendly Voltra is. Then again, I don't know how it works across all mobile platforms, but I have a Samsung, it's an Android. It's much more top of the line, so like obviously I have much easier access to Voltra and using all the features on the website, but I guess if you have a smaller phone or it's not up to that standard or whatever, I could see it being a little more difficult to use. Yeah, but mobile app will not be coming anytime in the near future. Yeah, I have a difficult time even typing on my phone too, even when I'm in the forums right now, because I just have such big hands, and I have like a plus size phone. It's still not big enough. They call it a phablet, but it's just like a regular size phone in my hands. So no good to me. Yes, I agree on that. That's definitely uh, yeah, that should be the priority. Just like overall, we need to improve the website before we even think about moving it over to a mobile application. And right now, the our current condition with coding is I feel like we're a lot more stable than some other websites. Our loading for our inventory system is going to be improved, because I know that's one issue, that also the load time for me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I really want to create an avatar today? Because I know it takes a while, especially if you have a large inventory. But that's going to be updated with the new updates coming to the inventory. It should be a much faster loading times. But hopefully, I hope I have a lot of big dreams for Voltra. Um, I was starting this website. It wasn't just I want to start a website. It was, I want to create a world. I want it to go beyond just your computer screen. I want to go to conventions. I want to meet people who have the same interests. I want cue the happy music. I want um, I want us to have real life gear that we can walk around and really um, I'm losing words. I don't have the words. What am I trying to say? But I want like gear, and I want like stickers, which I actually have a few stickers right now. I have a Bernard sticker. I have some plasma orb coasters. Yeah, merchandise. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. So I've been kind of experimenting with that and like products that I've come across and like are they worth investing our the support from you guys in, because I want to make sure they're like quality, that it's a fair price. All right. So we are straying away from our main topic of discussion right now, which was about the 10-second waits for posts. And there was one other point I wanted to make about that. So recently, if you guys are aware with like the um, verification process where you get an email to verify your account in order to trade on Voltra. Well, recently we had some, if you've noticed, we've had a few times where bots have gotten onto Voltra's forums and they just posted random blurbery. I don't even know what they're talking about, links and stuff, and just nonsense. So we've had some bots that ended up actually posting on the forums. Um, and so recently we just had an incident where this had ended up getting our mailbox server. It's like a host. Think of it like uh, it's a host, like you would host a website, but it's sends out our automatic emails. And so because of these bots, we ended up sending out tens of thousands more of emails to get to verify their account, and that costed Voltra money, which means it's pretty much just wasting your guys' support and it's kind of throwing it down the drain. So that was another reasoning behind. It's like a pay per email thing, very small cent wise, and we're such a small community, we haven't even had to really pay any invoices for the amount of emails that go out for you guys when you're getting your accounts verified. But because of these bots that were coming to our website, and they post it on forums, and then our system automatically sends them verification emails. It was just not a good combination, and so we had lost some money due to that. And so this was one other reason that was behind this 10-second wait. So it kind of combats bots in a way. Yeah, that was just one other reason behind it. And I know it's because I do remember being a regular, just a, I don't want to say regular user, but I remember just being a user on a website and or a community member and like not being the the administration, because I as much as I would like to say I'm as active on the website and in the forums, I'm not as active as I'd like to be, just due to other responsibilities with Voltra, obviously, and then with outside of Voltra. But so I do recall when posting and trying to earn currency and collect the items that having to wait, or like having, I remember entering captchas in some websites to post your post. I get it's a little, that time it takes, it's time consuming. Those seconds add up. So I know it started at 15 seconds. We reduced it to 10 seconds. So discussing on staff and listening to your guys' input, there's a possibility we could maybe even reduce it a few more seconds. Or if there's some other way around it where you guys can verify like the dumb captcha. I hate to say the dumb captcha thing, but like if you log in a day and then you do the captcha thing, and then it like clears your account for the next 2 hours, like couple hours, and you can post without the delay or something like that. But it all comes down to the coding and our abilities on staff. Yeah, let's not do captcha. Let's not do captcha, because now those images too. Select the images with streetlights in them. I miss one of them because it's like far in the distance, or it's like peeking out behind a truck. Okay. I'm also typing. I apologize. I know you can probably hear that. I'm just kind of taking down notes here for your concerns with the delay in posts, just so that we had them as reference for possible solutions that we can introduce. So, what I mainly got from you guys for like how other solutions we could go about this was so the wait time is just kind of too long, and obviously any wait time is just going to be a little like irritating. But so maybe reducing that to 5 to 7 seconds, like around 5 or 7 seconds, so about half the time it is now, and then also just the possibility of limiting volts earned instead of limiting the time between posts. So there's that. And right now, I think the max you can earn is 10 volts per post, and I think in the undercurrent. So that definitely adds up after a while. But again, it takes time and takes effort to really rack those 10 volts up. So we'll see. We're going to discuss as staff, of course, and then I also just have to reach out to our development department and see what's doable and how long it might take. But with future features that are going to be coming to the website, because we have been discussing limits, because the economy is always a big discussion within websites, and how readily available are items, especially older items, and how affordable are they, and because that stuff can kind of scare users away, new members of the community away as well. And I understand that this one in particular kind of scares, this feature with the 10-second wait also kind of scares people away as well. Um, well, darn, I wish Voltra was great already, but okay. There's always room for improvement. That's why I said this is not just a current project, it's not just currently under development. Voltra will always be under development, and we're always working to make it a greater website for the greater good. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But yeah, we're always looking to improve it, and there's so much that we want to do with the website. It's really just going to take us time. Lots of hours, lots of days, lots of weeks, lots of months to make those updates. How about we have a yellow hat or a gray hat with our logo on it, which is the V with the lightning bolt that's yellow and the line that is white. Okay. Is there any other questions, comments, concerns that you guys have about any other aspects of the website? I kind of feel like we've hit this one in the head. Like there's really not much else we can discuss about it. But unless you guys have any other points that where I can note those down. No, we are never killing off one of our main NPCs. Unless we're Vulture's 50 years old and maybe we're trying to introduce a new a new generation of NPCs, then possibly. But no. And I don't think they're gonna get assassinated. Oh, that's a good question. Annual reset. Um, I'm gonna note that, Braxton, because that's something we never thought about. I know it just continually accumulates depending on how many times you change your username. And say it's been 5 years, you're on Voltra, and you've been gone for 2 years. You might want to change your username coming back. Maybe there can be some sort of reset for that. I like that idea. So as of right now, we don't have anything planned for that because this is the first time I've heard that, or it's been a thought. So yeah, I'm just gonna note that down, and that's something we'll discuss with staff and see if it should definitely be a possibility. I mean, anything with coding, there's endless possibilities. So that's correct. Smokely sadly passed away, but I don't want to be mean to Smokely, but he wasn't the main NPC. I know that sounds exclusive. He's an important NPC. He sacrificed his life for Voltra, but that's what he was introduced as an NPC for. And who do you think Mayor Vulcan's assistant is? I don't see Mayor Vulcan holding a community discussion right now. Pats myself on the back. All right. Any other questions? If not, I think we can move along to our raffles. I do have a raffle winner for those who submitted the questions prior to the discussion. Go ahead, assumed, and I'll go ahead and get this together for the raffles. Oh, you're saying that you won the raffle? Maybe, we don't know yet. I still have to do those. Okay, so for the winner for our September October rare, which let me go refresh my memory. Which our current rare set is the Lonesome Hero. So for submitting a question prior to the discussion, our winner is I'm not going to pronounce that. Baku or Baku. Okay, well, I always verify, so I will definitely look into that soon. And if it is you, congratulations. Baku. All right, great. Well, congratulations, and thank you for submitting a question prior to the discussion. And, oh, I realized there are some things I didn't really touch on here. Okay, so now just to build up, the anticipation for those of you who might possibly win a crate, there are two last things I want to touch on. I do apologize for not looking at these. So our milestones, just updates on those. We got the 1 million posts, and our pose 1 will be coming out shortly. I will say definitely probably release it after the event, which ends on the 25th. It'll come out soon. And I kind of like to try and separate things just so they have their moment. Right now, the event is the current moment, and I feel like it would take away from, getting that milestone item. And then post 2 is going to be unlocked at 825,000 posts. So that'll be updated. The homepage will be updated to that goal once you release pose 1, just so that you guys just don't have things overlooked. I don't want to make it seem like we're just not going to release pose 1 before we start working towards pose 2. And we've got our 2,000 volties, which we're very close towards, and I saw towards reaching that goal, and I saw that there was a thread out there that was encouraging you all to get out there and invite your friends, and there's like incentives involved and prizes and stuff, so go check that out. I believe it's probably in Voltra discussion, so that was pretty cool. I was happy to see that thread. And then just an update on staff applications. You guys are also welcome to apply to staff, even though we are currently on like a hiatus of hiring and bringing on new staff as we are reorganizing some of our processes and just overall organization of like how we plan and share information and communicate between staff. And then hopefully within within the next coming weeks, we'll be reaching out to those because I have been seeing applications coming in and review. We just haven't had a chance to review them, but I have like looked over what has come in as in a sense like I have seen there's new applications. So don't get discouraged if you haven't heard back from us yet. It's just there's a lot of planning going on with the current event that was launched, and also there's another event coming up, which is Reaping Ritual 2019. So yeah, that's in store for you guys as well. Yeah, and Braxton, you always have a good eye. You really point out the little nitty-gritty things that really no one else pays attention to. But the reason for that is because this is when it comes back to limits and all of that. We had some users before who just thought it was a good idea to have more than 2 mule accounts and created hundreds of accounts that also had derogatory names, and rather than leave those in our community and for you guys to view them, we decided to delete them. Yeah, so that's why. I mean, we are almost to our goal of 2,000 members, and it's just because we had to remove some. And there are still some accounts in our system who, I mean, obviously there's more active users than others. Some of them forget about Voltra once they create their account, and then there's those users who are on daily, and then there's those users who come back every other week, every other month, 3 times a year. So that's just how it is. But yeah, we're not counting those accounts just because they're not real accounts. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the raffles now. You guys can chat a little bit while I do those raffles if you'd like. They're not true Vaulties. That is correct. All right, so I have our 3 September crate winners for being present during our community discussion today. And those winners are the Great Pretender, Lord Lucre, and Priestess of Pie. Congratulations. There will be more opportunities in the future to win crates to those who did not win. So you'll be seeing in our next one of our surges coming up when we schedule our next community discussion for October. October will be a pretty busy month for Voltra. Just because we've got crates, we've got the community discussion coming up, and then October is always the month for our reaping ritual, which is one of our larger scaled events. And so that's been in planning now for quite a while. So that should be a lot of fun, and it's one of our more darker. Usually, the reaping ritual is a little more dark than any other event on Voltra, due to the time of the season. So I do love dark chocolate, 80%, or like anywhere between 80 to 90%. One time I bought dark chocolate that was 100%. That was bitter. I still ate it, but that was bitter. It goes well with like a cup of coffee or something like that. But all right, thank you for all of you who showed up for our community discussion today. And you guys asked really great questions prior to the discussion and during the discussion. It's always, I do prefer talking and discussing like verbally. When it comes to the forum and stuff, discussions are it's a little harder to discuss things. So that's why we have these community discussions, to give you guys the opportunity to talk to me almost, I mean, I'm not in person, but, talk to me straight on, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. All right, so, well, I have work in the morning. I worked all day today, so I'm a little tired, but I obviously enjoyed our community discussion. I always have a good time with you guys, and you guys always give me such great comments on my voice and all that, but I won't let it go to my head. All right, so y'all have a good night, and thanks again for participating in our community discussion, and I will be working on sending out the prizes to our raffle winners tonight as well. So you'll receive a private message from me once that prize has been granted to your account, and I'll work on getting this video uploaded to YouTube so that anyone can refer to it in the future, or those who weren't able to make it can review it. And also the outline will be posted in the reminder/notification thread that was posted by Mayor Vulcan, so you guys can refer to that and like look at the previews again if you wanted to. Also, it's a great way to review all of the updates coming to the inventory system and the outfit feature. Yeah, it's a great reference. Okay, well, y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you next month. Well, I'll also talk to you on, I'll message y'all on the forums, but I will talk voice chat to you guys next month. All right, have a good night.